It's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the streaming Wasteland here on the SPM Crew Podcasting Network. And this is my weekly show where every Friday I take three streaming services, pick one previously released film off of each, and hopefully then you have a nice full weekend of films to check out. And this week we're going to be highlighting AMC Plus, Peacock, and Criterion Channel. Getting started over on AMC Plus, we have a film from 2000 from Robert Zemeckis and Tom Hanks, and that is Castaway. And this survival film focuses on a FedEx executive who is in a very busy place in his life, works a lot, does have a special woman in his life played by Helen Hunt, but a fateful flight leaves him stranded on an island. And this film is a lot of it is really on the shoulders of Tom Hanks, who really delivers an impressive performance where he goes from somebody who's you see him as overbearing and intense, and then you see him raw and vulnerable and having to deal with the challenges of being stranded and lost in this place. And this is such an impactful and emotional experience. You see him go through all of these stages of psychological struggle, physical struggle, his rotting tooth and getting injured, or as the film goes on and it leaps time, you see him lose tons of weight and befriend a volleyball named Wilson. And there's so much emotional heft to this film. Robert Zemeckis directs the hell out of this. The plane crash sequence is incredibly intense. And this film does have a fascinating prologue that really has you think about where do you find yourself when you're lost in life? And this is such an emotionally impactful film. Tom Hanks gives an incredible performance. This is probably Robert Zemeckis' last truly great film that he's put out. And it's something so impressive, balancing the technical prowess of Zemeckis and just the raw acting talent of Tom Hanks to bring this all together and deliver something truly affecting and that will last with you. This film is a little long in the tooth, but it takes you on this incredible journey, this impactful journey, and something that will last with you and just, have you just remembering why we love Tom Hanks so much and why he truly is one of the premier actors of his generation. Next up, we're going to shift gears and head over to Peacock. And we're going to get a little bit more action here as we go back to 1988. And it is arguably the greatest action film of all time, and that is Die Hard. And this film is directed by John McTiernan, who legitimately directed some of the best action films of this whole entire decade. And based on of his own personal issues, really derailed a career that was quite impressive with The Hunt for Red October, Predator, and Die Hard. And this film is a perfect film. It is so incredibly well written, down to the details of this whole heist, the twists that go along with this heist, just the tinges of that Christmas flair, and the focus on John McClane, one of the all-time great everyman heroes in film, who is this cop out in LA trying to fix his family with his wife Holly, played by Bonnie Bedelia, who he winds up going to Nakatomi Plaza for this Christmas party, and all hell breaks loose when Hans Gruber, Alan Rickman, shows up with his crew of cronies and they take things over. And this film has incredibly well staged action. There's incredible logic to how it all comes together. John McTiernan really understands how to capture a visceral nature and an intensity, but also leave room for humor. Bruce Willis, this is truly what put Bruce Willis on the map and made us realize just how talented of a performer he could be. There's emotion here. There's a vulnerability. We see him, he's not Superman. We see him with his feet cut and beat up and just frustrated. And this incredible relationship that he develops over a radio with Reginald Vell Johnson's Sergeant Al Powell. I love that friendship. It's just perfect. Alan Rickman is one of the most charming and devilishly great villains in film as Hans Gruber. And this film just has filled to the brim with fantastic character actors from William Atherton, the dirtbag reporter. The second that we get to look at all of these other, like, you even have like Robert Davi showing up as an FBI stooge. And there's just so many great little performances, whether it's, you have all of the other actors there. Paul Gleason as Lieutenant Detective Dwayne Robinson. Just all these characters are so memorable. The performances are great. The action is thrilling and impressive. There's so many great one-liners. The dialogue is popping. This just has everything. Die Hard is an all-time classic, and this is how you make an action flick. John McTiernan had such a role at that point with this and previously Predator, Hunt for Red October. But this is just one of the all time great action films. And yes, it is indeed a Christmas movie. So it is perfect as this is the first episode of the streaming wasteland as we get into December. And lastly, heading over to the Criterion channel, it's back to 1954. And this is the crime thriller drama On the Waterfront. And this film is directed by Elia Kazan, one of the premier filmmakers of that era, as he works with some of the premier actors coming out of the method of acting, with Marlon Brando as Terry Malloy, this washed up boxer who winds up being a New Jersey longshoreman who struggles with his guilt when it comes to the death of someone. And as he builds this connection to this guy's sister, played by Eva Marie Saint, who is fantastic. And he gets stuck in between Johnny Friendly, Lee J. Cobb's union boss here, and his own brother, Charlie Malloy, played by Rod Steiger. And you even throw in a priest, Father Barry, played by Carl Malden. There's just so many incredible performances in this film. Marlon Brando is just showing you what acting can truly be in this film, down to the little detail with a little white glove, or I could have been a contender. And that whole entire conversation that he has with Steiger, the acting is just impeccable. Carl Malden gives a great performance here and adds that extra layer of complexity as he's trying to bring out the good in a very aggressive and maybe not the most helpful kind of way, but really trying to push the buttons and shape the system. Lee J. Cobb is this incredibly powerful presence. And there's so many great actors in this film. Kazan just finds an authenticity and a rawness to this whole entire experience. It is beautifully shot in this crisp black and white, how the shadows are used, how everything is staged, the emotion of it all, and the complexity, the moral complexity of what should Terry do. And Marlon Brando just gives this incredible performance. And also, Leonard Bernstein's score is something else. This just adds so many layers to this film, an intensity, and just everything about this film is pitch perfect. This is an all-time great classic, and you get to see one of the all-time great performances by Marlon Brando. So this is definitely one you should go check out. But that's a wrap here on another episode of the Streaming Wasteland. And let's get into summation here as we go to AMC Plus and 2000's Castaway. We have Peacock with 1988's Die Hard. And finally, Criterion Channel, we have 1954's On the Waterfront. Make sure to like, comment, and share on this episode. Let me know what your favorite action flick is, or what's your favorite Tom Hanks performance, or what's that classic film that you really feel like shows you like this is what acting can really be. make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. The SPM Crew Podcasting Network is full of incredible shows and content, whether it's about film or television or sports, physical media, comics, music, or, just chatting about life. And we have wonderful shows and wonderful content, so make sure to check us out. And also, thank you for the great logo from High Flyer Creative. If you're ever in need, go check them out. But most importantly, thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting the streaming wasteland here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.